Dear students, in today's class, we are going to discuss the basic difference between the C and C++. Today's entire session will be discuss all about the differences between the C and C++. First point, C was developed by Dennis Ritchie, and most often and most way the people tell in 1972, but exactly in between 1969 and 1973 and in AT&T Bell's laboratory, the Dennis Ritchie developed C, whereas the C++ was developed by Stropes, Bajar and Stropes in 1979. That is differentiating in the terms of development and the laboratory, that is AT&T Bell's laboratory. C in 1972 and C++ is in 1979. C does not support polymorphism, but C++ support the concept of polymorphism. What is polymorphism? In OOPS concept, that is one of the important pillar is polymorphism. Poly means many, morphism means form. Class having many form, that is known as your polymorphism. Overloading is the exact meaning of the polymorphism. What is the overloading? A name of the function is same, but parameter is different. What is the benefit? You should know that if number of function is defined, number of variable is defined, each variable and for each function it takes some memory. If one function will taken and it will behave differently according to the circumstances, since performance increases, means in the less space we can do maximum. The real life example is a person behaves differently at different circumstances. A person may be a husband, a person may be a parent, a person may be an employee. Husband, parent and employee as a single person behaves differently in different circumstances. That is the real example of a polymorphism, and polymorphism is one of the important pillar in C++ that is not supported in C. In OOPS concept we will be coming into detail, and also in polymorphism there is a chapter 2. Hence it is written C++ support polymorphism, encapsulation, inheritance. Encapsulation means placing members and methods together in a single packet known as encapsulation, which provide data hiding. Data hiding means we are restricting the data where to access, where not to access. Inheritance means the process of creating a new class from existing class known as inheritance. The reusability is the greatest feature of inheritance. Polymorphism, encapsulation and inheritance, these are three important pillars of C++, of which there is some chapter we will be discussing in OOPS features, when OOPS concept we will be discussing. Those encapsulation, inheritance and polymorphism that does not support in C, as there is no class in C, there is no chance of supportance of encapsulation, inheritance and polymorphism which is supported in C++, because C++ is an object-oriented programming language, whereas the C is the procedural programming language. What is the difference between the procedural programming language and object-oriented programming language? We will be discussing in the latter part. Which programming language support only function, that is procedural programming or structure programming? Which programming language support the concept of object-oriented, that is class, that is known as your object-oriented programming. C is procedural-oriented, whereas the C++ is object-oriented. C is a subset of C++, whereas the C++ is a superset of C. Already from the beginning I have told, if C is termed as subset, C++ is termed as the set, and Java is termed as a superset, and hence if C is a subset, C++ can be termed as a set or superset. C contains 32 keyword, reserved words, predefined word, whereas the C++ contains 52 keyword, and hence C++ is rich. Rich means more reserved words are available in C++ in comparison to C. For development of the C programming, we need procedural programming. As I told, function we need. But for the development of C++, there is two things are there. C++ support procedural approach, C++ supports object-oriented approach, as hence it supports more than one approaches. It might be termed as a hybrid language. Data and functions are separated in C. whereas data and functions are encapsulated together in the form of object in C++. Means we are declaring data as integer x character y, function void get void display separately in C, whereas in C++ all the data and functions are placed together in a single packet as a class known as data encapsulation. C does not support information hiding. Data hiding concept not supported in C, but that is supported by C++ in the concept of encapsulation, which restricts where to access, where not to access by the help of three important access specifier or modifier that is known as private, public and protected, which is supported in C++, that is not available in C. Built-in data type are supported in C. Integer, character, float, double, that is also available in C++, as well as C++ supports some user-defined data type like classes. Why class is termed as user-defined data type? Because user, according to the requirement, can store all the members and functions within a single packet known as class. Hence, class is known as your user-defined data type, which is not supported in C. C is a function-driven language, or it might be termed as a procedural language, where C++ is termed as object-oriented programming language. Functions and operator overloading is not supported in C, but functions and operator overloading in the term of a polymorphism is supported in C++. Functions and operator overloading is not supported in C, but functions and operator overloading is supported in C++. Already we have told C is a function-driven programming language, whereas the C++ is object-oriented programming language. Functions in C are not defined inside the structure. As we know, in C, derived data type structure only contain the member. Function does not support. But functions are used inside a structure in C++, that is in class, because within the class we can store functions as well as the member. Namespace feature is not present in C, but namespace feature is supported in C++ to avoid name collision. What is namespace? Suppose in a class there are 5 benches, every day the people will come and randomly they can sit in any benches. There is no namespace. Suppose there is a class, there are the 5 chairs are there, and for each student a chair is aligned, means a namespace is aligned. That namespace feature is available in C++, namespace feature is not available in C. Header file is used, basically standard header file. Default header file in C is stdio.h, whereas the default header file in C++ is iostream.h. A reference variable is not supported in C, but a reference variable is supported in C++. REF, reserve word, can be used in C++. Virtual and friend functions are not supported in C, but virtual and friend functions are supported in C++ because virtual will be used in polymorphism. Friend will be used in class for accessing private member outside. That is not supported in C, but that is possible in C++. C does not support inheritance, but C++ support the inheritance. Instead of focusing the data, C focuses on method or function. But in C++, instead of focusing on the function, we focus on the data, because data is important for the user. It is crucial. It is the wealth. It is the asset for the user. Hence, C++ supports, emphasizes on data, whereas the C emphasizes on the methods or the functions. For dynamic memory allocation, C uses malloc and calloc. For dynamic memory allocation, C uses new and delete. Through new, we can allocate the memory. Through delete, we can deallocate the memory. Exactly in C, malloc calloc is used to allocate the memory. Free is used to deallocate the memory. Exception handling is not supported in C. Exception handling is supported in C++. What is exception handling? There are two types of error. One is compile time error, one is runtime error. Compile time error or syntax error means if you are missing semicolon, you are making capital small mismatch, you are missing curly bracket, that is your compile time error. But in the runtime error, it's the logical error. The error will not provided in compile time, but if you make the mistake like any number divided by 0, you are adding integer with a string without any conversion, you are storing invalid location in the array, you are opening the file that does not exist, the runtime error will occur. And for handling runtime error, the technique we use, that is exception, which is not supported in C, that is supported in C++ as well as Java. For input-output function, the scanf and printf is used in C, whereas to input and output, two different statements will be used, that is cin and cout for input and output in C++. Scanf and printf function are input and output is defined in the header file stdio.h, whereas the cin and cout statement is defined in the header file iostream.h. In this way, we differentiate with more than 10 to 15 characteristics on the basis of which C and C++ is distinct among themselves. I think you understand today's class differences, which is the most important foundation of C++, and because people always think if we know the C and by knowing the C++, what the additional things we can do. Hence, it is important to distinguish first what is the difference between the C and C++, what we discuss in the entire today's session. In the next class, we are coming with some new texts, and if you are having any doubt in the last and today's class, please make the comment. Please make the comment what you need the best, and we always try to give you the best performance which is possible inside us. If you like the video, kindly like it. Having any comment, please make comments. If you have not subscribed new, then kindly subscribe this video. Thank you. See you in the next class.